you. You're all so amazing. I would like the chairman of the board of Prevent Blindness, Jim McGran. Thank you.
Thanks, Maureen. Hey, everybody. How you doing? Happy St. Patrick's Day Eve. Yes, that is something. We have Christmas Eve. You have to have St. Patrick's Day Eve. Tomorrow's the high holy day of St. Patrick. One thing, when Maureen was welcoming the guests, I want to mention also that came over with the Irish contingent is Senator Martin Conway is the longest serving senator in the Irish Senate and visually impaired senator in the history of Ireland. So Senator Conway, thanks for being here with us. So I'm not sure if everyone's aware of this, but this year, Prevent Blindness turns 115 years old. That is 75 years older than Marshawn, 15 years older than Jamie Shire. Then founding in 1908. But what it was it was a group of volunteers that 30% of blindness in newborns was easily preventable. The volunteers all banded together. They put together state-by-state advocacy campaigns. And infant blindness that was rampant. At the fast 14 years, obviously, the mission of Prevent Blindness is to prevent blindness and preserve sight, focused on promoting against the lives of millions of people each year through public and professional education, advocacy, certified vision screening training, community and patient engagement programs, and more. But know that we could do none of this work without all of the support you all do and give as individuals and as companies. So please give yourselves a round of applause. So you've already heard the amazing news about tonight. Let's continue to build on our generous. The last couple of years when we honored Mark Ferrara and Rick Gadd. I love them both dearly, friends, but even they would admit they are no Megan. I checked with Mark and he agreed. So look, it's National Women's Month. Let's set a new record. Thanks again for being here, for your support, and all that you do for Prevent Blindness.
That was amazing. So the next really where the fun does start. We have such a special for Megan to be here, and we have very special people that would like to share some comments and some thoughts. Alex Wilkes, up to the stage. He is the president of the Americas for Cooper Vision.
All right, good evening. So Megan, the record donations, I think that means you just. So good evening, everyone. It's great to see everyone. It's a real privilege for me to get to spend a few moments to talk about Megan. I've known Megan for almost 13 years. Actually, Megan hired at Luxottica in 2010. I worked for her for a day, and then I was stolen away by someone else and actually almost left. But Megan was always such a great mentor to me. And ultimately, one of the category of Megan was because of you. So thank you. So we're lucky tonight to celebrate this with Megan and her family. And it's great to see Ryan, Annie, Joe, new daughter-in-law, Claire. So again to these guys, really, really awesome. A little bit about what I call the 3 dimensions of Megan. Uh-oh, what's coming? The first dimension I like to think of about Megan is Megan the innovator. When I joined LensCrafters and worked with her in 2000, relentless mission to transform the patient experience. So she had this vision of a digital end-to-end journey where the patient could have a digital eye exam, digital measurements, and ultimately the store with the premium AR coating. I mean, these are things 13 years later we kind of take for granted. And if you look at where the category is today, it's there, Megan, because of you. So Megan the innovator, cheers to you. And I think we all owe you a big debt of gratitude for driving the industry forward. Things that we take for granted now started with you. My second dimension of Megan is Megan the philanthropist. Where on earth do you find the time to work and sit on the boards that you sit on and make such a positive contribution? No one will ever know what you do for the category, for OWA, what you've done for St. Ursula, your alma mater, your high school. Your passion for continuing to give back is really second to none, and something so thank you for everything you've done there. Actually, if you guys don't know this, one site, Megan was on the board of one site, and really during probably the most transformational period of one site we know today really started on Megan's watch as a board member as well. So really your fingerprints are all over this category, both the innovation side. All right, now let me just a few more moments on the third dimension of Megan, which is the people developer and family leader that she is. On the people developer side, there are folks all over this industry that you've mentored that have now gotten in incredible positions that really owe you a huge debt. President of VSP Ventures, started with Megan. Was another Megan protege. Dave Reeves, the guy who runs stores at LensCrafters. Dave learned probably everything he knows from Megan. Long story short is there's a lot of people in this room, there's a lot of people in this industry who are all better, smarter because of your tutelage. Myself included. Thank you. But my favorite part about Megan, and then let's talk about the people developer, that's the family Megan Molony. It was actually 8 years ago that Megan brought her son Ryan to Vision Expo. Do you guys recall? And Ryan joined for dinners, he joined for some meetings, he shadowed Megan, and really got a great appreciation for, I think, what his mom was doing and what her impact was in the business. So I had a chance to talk to Ryan the other day, and he said the career he's chosen has largely been because of what he saw his mom. So very cool. And really a quick story of about Annie. When my kids were little, we were supposed to go to the Molonys for dinner, and our babysitter backed out at the last minute. And Megan called me and says, "Don't worry." I'm like, my kids, no one wants anything to do with these rotten little scoundrels. But Annie took up the challenge. She spent all night playing with my kids on it's something my kids to this day still remember. So it's just great to watch this family grow up. I've been around you guys for a long time. Megan, I'm so proud of you. All right. Before I turn best orator in the room, Mr. Reed Foz, can we just all raise a quick glass? Cheers to Megan. Thank you for everything. All right, Reed, your turn to come tell some better stories than mine.
With a confession. I was thinking of not starting with a confession, but leaders are supposed to make themselves vulnerable now. So here's the confession. For the 2 years prior to Megan joining National Vision, I think I was technically stalking her. Now, it was nothing bad or anything, but I would very consciously try to find places where I could casually run in. Maybe when I was back in my hometown of Cincinnati, maybe at a Vision Council, but I knew I could always find her at the Optical Women's Association champagne breakfast. And I was really conscious about this. I'd wait till she had thrown back 3 or 4 glasses of champagne. Okay, you get to that breakfast. It's Thursday morning, chock-a-block schedule in front of all of us, a long day, and they spare no expense on that champagne. I don't know how they make money given the serving there, but I think I've digressed from the point. I was watching out for events. Hey, Megan, have you ever thought of maybe working at National Vision? You know, we're Santa, you should think about it. And I was planting little seeds like that for about 2 years. I knew that her predecessor, in part of the role she has now, was going to be hard to replace. He had been purchasing frames and lenses and optical goods for about 46 years. And it was believed that he had gotten drunk with every vendor in the entire optical community. You're hearing people say that is true. So I knew it was going to be a tough act to follow. I knew it was someone who had to be an absolute expert, but even more so, I knew it had to be someone who was very conscious of the complex relationships that go on in this field because they are delicate. And Megan brought that to us. But I also care a ton about the value system of the people who I surround myself with. And what many of you don't know is Megan and I are from the same neighborhood in Cincinnati, Ohio. I love to say it that way, that we sort of grew up from the same neighborhood. She grew up there several years after, like we weren't playing stickball in the street or anything like that. Okay, so but I do, and I where she's from in a deep way that you can only get when you understand someone's community, you understand their neighborhood, you know the high school they went to. That actually means a lot, and I'm sure she understands me better because of that too. And that was an important part of this. I knew she had a breadth and depth of experience from prior to National Vision in all aspects of product, working in operations services, working in an international optical tech startup in Oxford, England, working for the 2 largest vendor partners that we bought things from, that she was firmly enmeshed in the optical community. I also thought she was a lot of fun. So having all those things was why I was following her so carefully for 2 years. and was lucky enough to get her just a bit over 5 years ago. You know, 5 years at National Vision is a nice thing because you get this like swell little statue you can put on your desk and a little pendant. And I always like to find a nice time and place to present those. She's closing in on 6 years, but I've known a lot about this event for a long time. So you'll be getting it tonight. And I wanted to thank Prevent Blindness, because never have I been able to find a moment to present one of these like this. I do so appreciate that. I'll bring this to you later. Megan and I got together a week or two ago in anticipation of this event, and it was a really nice thing, because it's one of those you don't oftentimes get to just sit with no time restrictions with someone and just talk about the arc of their career and what they enjoyed and what they're proud of. And it's really, really nice. I'd encourage you to do that with the people you work with. It can be nice and really special. And we talked about what she had enjoyed the most and what she was most proud of. And of course, sure, there were tangible things. You know, what is it? What do they talk about? The difference between resume virtues and eulogy virtues. We talked about the resume virtues stuff. We talked about the role she played on the National Vision team she joined. We were still a private equity firm, backed or private equity owned firm. We weren't the sophisticated public company we are now, and the role she was playing when she came in that conversion and that maturation phase for us. We talked about her ever-expanding role at National Vision, from product and merchandising to new store design to managed care relationships, and then to be in charge of innovation. We talked about the role she played driving sales and improving margins, which is great. I love that. And, you know, that's the part of your career where you feel this great sense of accomplishment and mastery, which is an important part to a fulfilling career. But it's not the most fulfilling part, because then we started talking about the people and the people relationships, the role she played in this community of shepherding the various partners we had. We talked about the role she played we talked about on the tangible side. We were talking about the role she played during COVID and all the China challenges there. But when we talked about the people thing, she first referenced back to 2004 when she was on the Pearl team that turned around Pearl. It was quite a turnaround, took several years, and she said it was just a great team to be working with, up against all sorts of different adversity, a huge challenge. And she said, but they just had a blast together. And she was saying it was crazy. People would say, oh, I want to come work on this team. And she'd say, I'd always look at them and say, well, you're not going to make a bonus over here, because that's not happening over here yet. But still, people wanted to come and join a winning team that was working together really well and attacking adversity. And it's often during those periods of adversity that teams to come together in the most fulfilling way. She talked about the fun of working for AdLens in Oxford. Although I will say it's pretty clear she's more of a sophisticated big company gal than a little startup sort of gal. I didn't think that was her sweet spot, but I think she found it entertaining. She talked about hiring and developing people, and as Alex said, many of the people who are now leaders in all sorts of different roles throughout the industry, and how proud she was of that, of her mentorship in the emerging optical leaders program of the Vision Council, plus informal mentorships. I hope you all noticed today when Talia Bruno was speaking from the stage, talking about the role that Megan had played as a mentor to her in her life and career. And then she really got animated talking about her current, as she said, her current rock star team, right down here, the current rock star team, Aaron, Mike, Janetta, Billy, Leanne, all here, and how proud she was and how great it was working with that group. You know, I found that in careers, there tend to be sort of two big phases. There's sort of the phase from your young 20s into your mid 40s where you're striving and working to accomplish and trying to get success for yourself. And then somewhere around your late 40s, it shifts and becomes a much more generative thing where you're trying to bring along and develop others and create the next generation. And clearly, that's been a huge part of Megan's career in the past decade or so. We talked about her role in the optical community, the early days of the Optical Women's Association, and anyone at that breakfast today had to be thinking, wow, how this group formed as a very small startup many years ago, 26 years ago, I think it was said, and what an important role it's played in the development of women executives throughout our industry. And she talked about her early days and the office. Yes, all the OWA for that. She talked about her role in several of the chapters of maturity of the Vision Council, her role on the board of the NAVCP, and as Alex referenced, the board of One Site, an organization I so greatly admire that went through several chapters of trajectory change. And Alex said Megan was fundamental to one of those chapters of change. At the end of the get together on this question that I like to ask people a lot who are sort of optical veterans, like all of us in this room, I love to ask the question, this field been so fulfilling for us? Why have so many of us really found the field of very life-giving? And she said, well, it allows folks to do good and important work in ways that you can respect, with people you respect and enjoy coming together with and working with, and the relationships that builds. I don't think that's true of many industries and categories, but I thought she really nailed it in terms of what was fulfilling for her and for so many of us. And given this ethos, Megan, and the role you've played in our community over these decades, I am not at all surprised that this is the best attended Prevent Blindness event, that it's raised the large. I'm not surprised by that at all, and I don't think many people here are. I believe great careers create multiple levels of virtuous cycles. And tonight, Megan, I think is emblematic of the virtuous cycles that your career has created. The great work you've done, what you've played on multiple teams at multiple companies over the years, the relationships you've made, the people you've mentored and nurtured and grown and developed, that is yours tonight, the honor you're receiving, resulting in a record number of funds going to such a great cause as Prevent Blindness. It is an inspiration to all of us in our careers to create such virtuous circles, and I'm very happy to congratulate you tonight. Thank you very much.
Okay, nobody wants to follow Reed Foz, ever. But I guess I have the pleasure of doing that. So, Kevin, I was wondering if we should see on how much we've had donated so far tonight. I don't know if anybody can get that on our slideshow. So we'll give it a few minutes here because we want to make sure people are taking a few minutes to make sure you're donating, you have the scans, you have the envelopes, and please do what you can to help us with this cause. So we're a little short. We have about $7,000 that's donated so far, which is amazing, and thank you very much. Please take the time to look at your QR code. This is benefit to the Prevent Blindness, so we would appreciate anything that you could possibly do for us. So this is where I get to prevent prestigious award to Megan. This is so fun. Megan and I met several years ago. We were both working for Essilor, and we would meet, from time to time in the hallways, you, Luca, and Daniel, and we would see each other certain times. Moved to NVI as the Chief Merchandising Officer, we became even closer, and we developed a very successful vendor. Megan, I don't know but it was your first contract negotiation, and I said to you, you and I are going to become good friends through this process. Many meetings, many iterations, many conversations, and I guess I was right? And that's the fun of it. The fun of it is you can do business together and be friends, and that's what you've given to me for sure. I think there are several people in this room that are suppliers, Megan, that would, but you're fair. Your communication style and your meticulous follow-up make it a pleasure with NVI. You're extremely, you have this endearing quality of fostering personal relationships along the way. You make it a point to gather with many of us at industry events, and you're always eager to make an introduction. As a matter of fact, your partner conference every year, where we are great, all of the NVI employees, learning about the future of NVI, and of course, listening to the State of the Union, teaches us words that we've never heard before, and he plays in bands and has an amazing draw. So I have to say, as I attend those meetings, Megan, and I see you sitting on stage during the question and answering, as a woman senior executive of the NVI team, you have truly earned skill set, capabilities, and contributions to the organization. And sitting back, inspiration you are, crowd. Thank you for leading. So this brings me to the she finds a way to give back to others and volunteers her time not only to chair the Professional Development Fund, but also to sit on the board of the OWA. I had a chance to talk to Joe this evening, and I heard contributions, and he says, I try to get a date night on a Tuesday. It's saying to get a date night because she's on an OWA call. And I said, well, how about Monday nights? So anyways, it's tough. It's tough to have a day job and to also do all that volunteering, which is just a commitment, have led you now to an executive committee role as treasurer and secretary of the organization. I can't tell you how many countless hours I've seen personally taking calls with you, and the weekends that you've offered guidance and support in exploring ways to bring the OWA to new heights. Thank you for your exceptional leadership and your service. If anyone ever wonders what Megan does, you will find her in Naples, Florida, either at the beach, visiting with her parents, hunkering down with kids, and of course, Murphy. Nope. This is this amazing dog that they love and share. He's part of the family. He wasn't in the pictures tonight. I'm sorry we didn't bring Murphy. Oh, he was. He was in the pictures. Yes, yes, yeah. Many family pickleball games, competitive golf with Joe and Ryan. So as a matter of fact, I happen to live in the same community. And my husband and I put our name on a tee sheet and ended up with Ryan and Joe playing golf. You were very surprised. We got on the first tee. Joe hits the tee ball a mile. Huge smile on his face, happy. He hits the ball 2 miles. That pisses Joe off. So competitive, so competitive. But anyways, it was such a pleasure playing golf with all of you. And also in Twin Eagles, we have this beautiful community that's built with wildlife, preserve, and you find families that are families of deer that are roaming the grounds, precious birds circling around, and of course the occasional alligator crossing the street. And can I tell you, you are blessed. You have a loving husband, 2 amazing children, and the way I was her daughter-in-law was, thank God for Claire. And I said, is her first name? Thank God for Claire. So, so funny the way you introduced me to her, and welcome to the family, Claire, for sure. So, Annie, Claire, Ryan, I hope that you learned tonight what an extraordinary woman your mom truly is, and what an amazing impact that she has made on so many people in this industry. Thank you to Alex. Thank you. Thank you to Alex and Reed for your gracious comments, and thank you for Prevent Blind for honoring Megan Molony for her dedication to the communities that she serves. Thank you again for all of the sponsors who contributed to this spectacular event, where we raised, once again, the highest amount of money than any other event ever. To my dear friend, this is truly a moment in time to reflect on how you have touched so many lives throughout the year, both personally and congratulations to Megan Molony for receiving the 2023 Person of Vision Award. What?
Thank you. Thank you, Maureen and Reed and Alex, for the, thank you. You probably over-exaggerated, but thank you for the very kind comment of you all, and I'm really special award. To be thought of as the person of vision is an incredible honor. So I appreciate. Thank you to Prevent Blindness and Jeff for the kind recognition and the amazing work you do to prevent blindness and preserve sight every day. Thank you to my industry colleagues for the recognition. Thank you for raising funds in support of the sight-saving efforts to prevent blindness. And for sure, thank you to Maureen and the team that you saw that worked on the committee that spent tons of hours to make this just an amazing. Thank you to all of you for that. To imagine that my name is like next to people like Rick Gadd and Mark Ferrara and Michael Guyette and Sue Downs and Marge and the Shires and Dr. Glenn Ellisor, to be even in that list of the amazing visionaries in our industry is, so thank you for that. It's an honor to be in the company of that list of people. I'd also love to point out and thank some people that have been very influential in my story. I've been at this, as we've pointed out, a long time. I've been in the industry 28 years. But there's been a lot, and I won't bore you or we'd be here all night with everyone that's impacted my story, but I'd love to mention a few. First, I'm going to start off with my parents. I probably shamefully uninvited them. Tonight, the obvious logistics of the busy nature of the week, right? And we're doing business and we're busy. And then they're 85 and they live in sunny Florida and coming here. And so, so had we invited them, they'd be sitting here in the front row and cheering us on. But we did uninvite them. But I owe them a huge debt of gratitude. I owe them a huge debt of gratitude. They really did set me up with everything I ever needed to be successful in life. And for that, I'm super thankful. And to my family, my husband Joe, you've already heard about, and my son Ryan, and my daughter Annie, and my amazing daughter-in-law Claire. And I won't forget Murphy because I'm ridiculously attached to my dog. So they made a lot of sacrifices, right, for my career. It's true of many of us in the room today. Joe had to do a lot of heavy lifting, raising the family, running the household. Ryan and Annie didn't have their mom at home after school every day. I think a lot of us women in the room can relate to that, even some of the men. But in short, they made a lot of sacrifices and were always forgiving if I missed like an important moment or a special event, which happened, unfortunately. And I'm so respectful of them for like the amazing people they've become, and more so for supporting me in the journey and never making me feel bad about being a working mom. So thank you guys. I love you guys so much. And like I said, there's so many people that have impacted my story. I couldn't begin to most of you in the room had an impact on my story, as you already know. But I'll call out a couple. The first one, I'm not going to mention his name. I don't think he was able to make it tonight, but somebody kind of took a bet on me and invited me to join his team in a role I had no qualifications for, no experience, nothing. He said, team. And it was really, I credit that. It was a pivotal moment in my career trajectory. And it really did change the course of my career. So I appreciate that person. I don't think he's here tonight, but I do credit him for that moment. Secondly, I'd like to recognize a couple of good friends and just confidants who I consider these people close friends through the years. And so we have professional acquaintances, right, that we do with, and they are life-giving, but I also have friends that I can call and just chat and share stories and solve problems. And you met one, Alex Wilkes. We all know Alex for being that awesome friend. And also thank you to Frederick Grethel. I think you all know Frederick Grethel, or many of you do, and he's been a really good friend to me over the years. Amazing. I'd also like to recognize Maureen. Maureen, you told a little bit of our story. So we met as colleagues, and thank you for bringing me into the Esselor family. It was amazing. We're also now, as she described, we sort of have this funny thing because I'm a customer and she's a vendor. Maureen, I don't know if I told you this, but I consider you part of my personal board of directors. Your personal board of directors, right? I consider Maureen that, and I really value your friendship. And I know my family values you finding us our happy place in Naples, but you've made a big impact on my life. So Maureen, I appreciate that. Reed, it's like so nice of you to invite me to join your organization. I was like humbled that you were calling me and saying, can you join this place? And I remember saying, I'm not going to join. Des is never retiring. Ultimately, I ended up here. I've been, before I ever stepped a foot into National Vision, I'd been in this business 22 years. So I'd certainly, been around the block a bit, but joining National Vision opened up a whole lot of new experiences, relationships, used to, and I'm going to steal your words, Reed. Reed always says, is it life sucking or life giving? And joining National Vision has been very life-giving. And it's nice after you've been in something for as long as I had been to have a really delightful new chapter. So thank you, Reed, for that. And now the OWA. We spoke a bunch about this amazing sisterhood of women You saw it today if you attended the event. If you didn't, they inspired me. They inspire me every day. I think they've been a significant part of my professional but personal journey. And I'm so grateful for this network of just rock star women, like-minded women that give me inspiration every day. So thank you, ladies. I promise I'm not going to drone on all night. My former colleagues, we talked about some of them today, but some of them are here in the room, some of them weren't able to make it, but Wendy, I think Alex, Kathleen, Mike Austin. Also, I know Greg Hare, who we spoke of, who holds a special place in my heart, and Jason Produce, those folks. And Bill Vaughn, I heard Bill Vaughn might be in the room, and Lori Solari. So many of my former colleagues, I just have stories and memories that they make me laugh. We went through some interesting times, but I just want to point out, you guys played a really big role in my story, for sure. And Scott Sennett and Luca, who were also part of those people that played a big role in my, so thank you for that. Thanks. Oh my gosh. Thank you to all of you for traveling here and being part. I know there were lots of, really appreciate you all getting here. Some of these folks were on spring break and still left their families to be here. So my current group challenges me, makes me smarter every day, and makes work a really delightful place to be. And you heard about my rock star team, these folks here in the front row. I don't even have to go to work, Reed. You could probably let me go because they run the show. So I really appreciate that. I'll have to say, when Maureen first called me to tell me I was receiving this Person of Vision Award, I actually thought she dialed the wrong number. She was talking and she said, "We're going to talk, you're going to recognize you as the Person of Vision." And I'm like, no, Maureen, it's Megan. I think you called the wrong number. And again, it's amazing to be here today. I think we've talked about it, and I've told a lot of you, I got into this industry by accident. It wasn't in my face in a lot of our families here, which is amazing. And in my family, and I stumbled here, and I didn't think 28 years later I'd still be here. And thank you to all of you for enriching. I always think about this industry. Reed touched on it a little bit. You know, and into this optical industry, and you kind of can't get out. I'm so thankful we didn't. I'm thankful we all didn't and couldn't. It's a special place. And I think you, Maureen, it's where else can you be a colleague and a customer and a collaborator at the same time? And Prevent Blindness, what a great example of that. I mean, we're all here for the shared purpose of advancing accessible eye care, right? Quality eye care equitably. So it's a great cause. I think COVID was a great example of that. David Freefeld, I think, got us together, Marty Bassett, Susie Yu, a group of people that just got together, even though we compete, really about how do we hunker down and get this industry back open safely so we can serve our customers and patients. So it's a really special place. And I guess I only ever wanted to work for a company or an industry that made a difference, right? And did the right thing and allows people to work hard and dream big, but more importantly, have fun and laugh a lot. And I think I've been blessed, along with a lot of us, to have a nice, friendly industry with, as you said, Reed, I think it's doing work with people we respect and in ways we respect. And I same words, and it was quite ironic because I feel this. Closing, as I said when I started, receiving this recognition from all of you and from Prevent Blindness is an honor. And thank you again, Prevent Blindness. You do amazing work to, again, present this to the committee, to all of you that have traveled far. Thank you for the recognition and the royal story and I hope you enjoy the rest of your show. And thank you so much for coming.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay, the evening is now coming to a close, but I would like to see, yeah. Whoa, whoa. We're very close. The evening is still okay. So we're going to be closing, gentlemen. I just want to say a couple of quick things. I would like to sincerely and gratefully, Corbett, Sue, you are an amazing employee of Prevent Blindness. Your unselfishness have been amazing. You organize, you give your heart and soul. You're so passionate about what you do. You keep everybody in line. Your husband was here volunteering tonight. You were just the soul of this entire organization. Sue, on behalf of Prevent Blindness and the committee. And lastly, we're going to close and say a special thank you. There's a nightcap reception on both sides here on behalf of Xylcap, and to continue the evening with Megan.